outsider. The palace announces the Queen's critical condition to the family, except for Harry. Hello friends, welcome to the biggest news of the day about the royal outcast Harry on our Kate Middleton and the Queen News version 2 channel. So there was a report out from Buckingham Palace claiming that they deliberately failed to tell Harry about the Queen's critical condition on September 8th because he is no longer a member of the royal family. So this act by the palace demonstrates that they have demarcated their relationship with the traitors and the hypocrites, Harry and Meghan. After the royal family gathered together to be by the Queen, officially they called Harry to announce her death. For Harry, this has to be a very harsh rejection from his family. One commenter has said, "The palace wants Harry to feel bitter about receiving this horrible discrimination. This was the price he had to pay when deciding on the path of separation from the royal family." Harry's expression when he arrived at Balmoral Castle was really unpleasant. It was as if he wanted to scream because of this terrible rejection. So now that I've stopped crying for a few minutes, maybe I can try to answer. So on the evening of September 8th, Harry didn't arrive at Balmoral until 7:50 p.m., so he was not able to see his grandmother, the Queen. Queen Elizabeth became suddenly very ill in the morning of September 8th. Her loving daughter, Princess Anne, was right there with her mother, so she was right there with her when she passed away peacefully. The now King Charles was on the Balmoral estate at Birkhall, so early in the morning they summoned him. Charles also got to be there with his mother at the very end, so the Queen had her children, Charles and Anne, right there with her. Now, I think technically the Queen did pass away sometime in the afternoon, but they didn't announce it until everyone in the family knew. Of course not. So there was a plane that brought Prince William, the Duke of York, and the Earl and Countess of Wessex. That plane arrived at the castle around 4:30 p.m., so unfortunately they didn't get to say goodbye to the Queen while she was still alive. I think they missed her by something like less than an hour, which I'm sure was painful, but at the same time, she was 96 years old, so I don't think it was that big of a shock. So Harry was not summoned by the people in London, and I'm not sure where he was on that morning, but apparently he was told while he was traveling that his grandmother had passed away. And from what I understand, Harry was not welcome to be there with the family. See, he had done so much to cause pain to the Queen while she was just trying to have a peaceful time after her husband Philip died. So Harry did not make it in time, and I think it might have been intentional. And where's Meghan? Ugh, well, who knows? She's probably at Soho House or having a drink at some hotel bar. To be honest with you, I could not care less where she is. And as for Catherine, who is now the Duchess of Cornwall and the Duchess of Cambridge, well, she stayed behind with the children because they were starting school at their new school on that very same day. And it might seem weird that she's not there with William, but she wasn't able to get good childcare for her children, so I understand. She wanted them to stick to their routine and go to school as much as they possibly could. Being new there is a big part of the reason I think that she stayed behind with them and wanted them to still attend school. And of course, there's going to be plenty of time for Catherine to be there in London or Windsor, wherever the events take place that are coming up. I realize that both Catherine and Meghan were absent, but we cannot compare the two. See, Catherine had a very good reason to stay behind. But Meghan, on the other hand, who knows where she is right now? And those kids, I don't know where they are. We don't even know if those kids are real. Apparently, Meghan has already put out a statement saying something like she's ready to forgive the Queen and the family. Oh my goodness, I think it's the same kind of statement that she made right after Philip died. I cannot stand her, and I cannot believe how horrible she's being in a time like this. And like the rest of you, I have been so consumed with grief today that I haven't even had any energy to think about the two of them. But now I'm really starting to feel rage bubble up inside of me as the two of them are trying to nudge their way into the attention that's being paid to the rest of the family. The Queen invited them to go see her at Balmoral, but they didn't have time to. They knew that her health was not good, and they still declined the invitation. They supposedly were too busy. Yeah, right. And let's get one thing straight. The Queen does not need forgiveness from anybody. She made choices every single day that were incredibly difficult choices, but she did it to the best of her ability, and she had pride in everything she did. She was a lovely, kind, dedicated woman, so please just let her rest in peace. We have lost the Queen of our hearts and the Queen of the UK. So rest in peace, Your Majesty the Queen. And now, time to say, long live the King. My heart is hurting right now, and I'm sure that yours are too. So I just have one thing to ask. Please, just be gentle with each other. Show kindness towards one another. We are all grieving. We are all mourning right now. It is not time to be picking fights. And many people in Britain are actually worried that Meghan is going to try to ruin the Queen's funeral in the next few days. Naturally, people are worried that Harry's going to allow Meghan to overshadow his grandmother's funeral. Harry's grandmother was not doing well, and I understand there's no way that he could have known that last Christmas and Easter were going to be her last. Perhaps her private doctors knew, who knows. So for a while, the Queen is going to lie in state at Holyrood House in Scotland. That's because she was in Scotland when she passed away. The funeral is supposed to happen on Monday, September 19th, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. I was kind of assuming that it was going to be on the 17th, but it looks like it's not. I think today they're going to make all of this very clear. I think most of us are just trying to process all of this. There's a new king now. I'm afraid everything might change. And I don't want to cry, so I am letting some of my anger come up. And if Meghan starts trying to make all of this about her, boy, am I going to lose my temper. But I hope not. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt for now. And I hope that the next few days we can all just focus on this amazing woman who we called Queen. Now, she may be gone, but she has left quite the legacy behind. Queen Elizabeth II has left behind such an amazing legacy of service, duty, loyalty, sincerity, joy, as well as absolute love and adoration for her family and her country. Now, of course, I was not around when the Queen's reign began, but she had a pretty steep learning curve because her father died suddenly while she was just enjoying a royal tour with her young husband. I cannot imagine how Prince Philip was feeling in the moments that his world turned upside down. He decided that he was going to be the one to let his wife know that her life as queen had started. So they came back to London as a queen and her prince, and the Queen's days of dealing with the red boxes had officially begun. I think in the beginning it might have been difficult for Prince Philip to find meaning in his life, but he did it, and he set a great example for the people who serve alongside the monarch. The Queen didn't have the chance to spend so much hands-on time with Prince Charles and Princess Anne, but she absolutely loved them. And when her reign was a bit more stable, she added 2 sons to the family. I think family was more important to Queen Elizabeth than anyone realized. She was just so busy doing her job and doing a damn fine job at it too that we didn't really see it. So when I see the casual photos from Balmoral from summers in the past, it's obvious that the Queen loved to relax and she loved to enjoy her family. Queen Elizabeth reigned for an amazing 70 years, and she had such a strong presence. I mean, who knew that little Princess Elizabeth, who promised to serve her country and Commonwealth no matter how long or short her life may be, would be the one to really break the mold? The Queen showed us what it looks like to persevere, how to work through difficulty, and she knew how to rely on her faith to get her through the tough times. And when William begins his reign, I think we're going to see all the hard work of the Queen pay off. Now, as for King Charles, I'm still getting used to the name change. He has learned a lot from his mother and father for a long time now. So Elizabeth's legacy is going to continue in her son, and I think he's going to make a fine king. He really embodies his mother's sense of loyalty, duty, and honor, and he's got Camilla by his side. So I'm sure that Charles III is going to continue with what he learned from his mother. But still, I think it's Prince William who's going to really embody everything that Queen Elizabeth so patiently taught him over the years. I mean, Catherine is such an amazing asset to the monarchy, and their love match mirrors the one that Queen Elizabeth and Philip had. We can already see what a strong man William is. I mean, how he works behind the scenes to really understand the people and the charities that he's working for. So William worked as an air ambulance pilot before he settled down in his work as a working royal. And that reminded me a lot of how his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, worked on trucks during World War II. And if you want to talk about an inspirational feminist, we don't need to look any further than Queen Elizabeth II. She really showed us women that we can rule and we can be effective. She was a working mother a long time before lots of mothers joined the workforce. And she had such a quick wit. She was such a clever woman, and she was always willing to have a bit of fun. That skit that she did with Paddington Bear for the Platinum Jubilee, in June it made me cry, and I had to watch it again today, and guess what? I cried again. We were so lucky to have been blessed with Queen Elizabeth II. Now, change is never easy, but I'm sure the UK is going to manage the change expertly. And of course, they're going to approach it with courage and wit. So may Queen Elizabeth finally enjoy the rest from her earthly labors. And today, I'm going to say for the first time, may God save the King. What do you think about the palace's final rejection of the traitor Harry and the great legacy the royal family inherited from the Queen? Will these hypocrites use this turmoil to overthrow the British monarchy? Let us know your thoughts below in the comments section. We hope you have found this video helpful. Don't forget to leave us a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching our news, and we'll be back to see you in the next videos. Bye-bye now.